All right, so I wanted to make this video to show a little bit about Ripple cryptocurrency and mostly technical analysis, just to show how I make buying and selling decisions based on what the market does. A lot of people don't understand the market; they think it's risky, um, and they just don't really understand that there is actually a system to it that does create, numerous millionaires and billionaires because there is actually systems you can follow that are profitable. For example, a lot of people they actually will uh, they'll buy like a four they'll have like a 401k or like an IRA, and that allows them to invest in the stock market. Well, the stock market moves every single day, up and down. There's buying and selling. Just because you're not buying and selling every single day does not mean that the majority of major investors and speculators are not doing that. There's many funds, hedge funds, and mutual funds that are selling and buying all the time. So, most importantly, I want to show you why I have bought Ripple when I have bought Ripple, and explain a little bit about the technical analysis. So, I've been trading for 7 years. I've learned all kinds of technical analysis. I've tested what works and what doesn't work. One of the big things that I've came across more in depth recently, because I want to give myself a clearer picture and have a better chance of success, is the Elliott wave theory. Um, Let me show you an example here. So, this is the Elliott wave theory, and um, this is it. The thing is, it's not perfect when you see it in the financial markets. Financial markets are based on buying and selling, which is based on human behavior and psychology. But you can see here, you can see what this is showing a seven, uh, I'm sorry, an 8 wave market moves. And what it is the market goes up in what they call wave one. That's like after the market has like bottomed out or topped out. And then there's a correction of selling, profit taking, people trying to speculate that the market's going to go back down. And then what happens is enough buying pressure comes back in to produce wave three. Typically, wave three is the most powerful move in a stock market, or I'm sorry, any sort of financial market. And then you're going to have wave four, which is more um, corrective selling. People taking profits, people speculating the market's going to go down. And then wave five. Wave five is where the market will top out, and then you'll see a fall. And a lot of times this still tricks people who don't follow Elliott wave. A lot of times they will be seen buying at wave A, um, when really this is a good time just to let the market kind of correct back up into here, and then actually possibly take a short position for wave C, because wave C is a very powerful move as well. I'm actually checking a potential trade that I'm literally about to enter right now on my phone. Um, Give me a second here. And actually, you know what? I might even tie that into here a little bit. Let's see. 240. 1 second. Okay, just entered that a trade on my phone, separate from this. But maybe I'll bring that up just for fun. Okay, so and then it breaks it down in smaller amounts. You'll see like a noticeable 3 waves. Typically, on like the um, you'll see the waves within the waves uh, that are like a smaller level. Like this right here, you could see like on like a 1 hour, 4 hour, you could see literally 3 waves within the wave one. I'm sorry, 5 waves within the wave one, and then you would see a 3 wave correction, and then you could break it down even smaller. You could see it on a 15 minute. And I was always speculative of this. Like I didn't think it really worked. I think my attention span just didn't allow me to want to follow it as a trader when I was younger and new. But I noticed many people were very accurate in their analysis that I'm like, oh my gosh, like that is something I have to look more into, and lo and behold, in conjunction with my what I already know about the financial markets, uh, it's helped tremendously. So I want to relate this to Ripple, which is one of the more popular cryptocurrencies and one that I've been buying quite a bit. So you can see here, as far as my chart goes back. I mean, Ripple's been around for quite some time, but you can see back here where it was like at well around 20 something cents, and then a spike down. But you can actually see, not perfectly, but you can see where the market was really crazy and everyone was buying cryptocurrencies. And when Bitcoin hit 20,000, you could see the 5 waves here. It's not exact, but you could see 5 waves. The market went up, it took a little breather, it went up here, took a little breather, went up, and then that's when it topped out. And like I said, it's not exact, but this is a very parabolic move. It's just it took off so quick, so fast, and that's why we had such a big, big fall. Um, Actually, I think if I look at Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin's actually a little bit more accurate when it shows the 5 waves from my memory. This move just was absolutely insane. Um, yeah, kind of similar, but and using this kind of data is what made me is what is the reason why I told everybody to get out of Bitcoin at 16,000. Maybe it may recover, but if you know to get out at 16,000, you have information that tells you to get out. It's wise to take your profit and then jump back in on the low end. So right here, you could see 5 waves up, and then what happens from there is you would expect either an A, B, C correction, and then a market goes back up, or you would typically see a 5 wave impulse down before correcting. And you can actually see here, it did that. It was like kind of like a 5 wave move. Something like this is about right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now the issue is I'm looking on a larger scale. You'd have to zoom in to get the exact wave count. But when I actually was looking at this bottoming out, I didn't use just Elliott wave theory. I think if I used just Elliott wave theory, I'd be a little bit lost. What I saw when this bottomed out, and what I actually ended up doing, is I saw Ethereum bottoming out as well, and actually I ended up buying Ethereum at this time. But what I saw was a major support level, which was this right here. Is around about 55 cents. You can see a big support level. And if you don't know what support is, support resistance is just a way of drawing an imaginary line, determining where buyers and sellers are coming in. You can see the buyers drove the price up when the price came down here. You can see it fell, it drove back up again. You can see it fell, it drove back again. Then eventually it dipped just below and came back, which is very common in financial markets, because if this falls below here, what happens is you're going to get a lot of selling. You're going to get a lot of sell orders here because people are scared because of where their stop losses were, etc. And then what it does is it allows for an accumulation zone, which allows for what they call like the smart money or bigger investors, allows them to accumulate. And that would have happened about right here. You just had consistent sideways action for days, which to me was actually just more evidence that we were probably going to go up. But essentially the way I saw it is we also use like Fibonacci metrics for like we use Fibonacci metrics for Elliott wave. Another thing was when I drew the Fibonacci, we were right in between the 0.886 and 786 of this whole entire move. If you look at major parabolic moves like Bitcoin, where they go up like this, or like the 1920s recession, I'm sorry, the 1920s Great Depression, or if you look at any of the major, like the Tulip Mania, if you look at any of the moves, they typically retrace like 80% of the parabolic move, unless the thing is just going to crash. So when I saw we're sitting right above the 0.886, we had a false break right here. What I was waiting for was the market to pull back up, and that would give me confirmation that we were going to go up. So starting from the top, we had 5 waves, then we had 5 waves down. It was a major structure area that was a false break, which is to deceive your retail type investors. And then it was at the 0.886. Not only that, but to take a step further, we actually had what's called divergence, which is just essentially is computing the price action compared to the momentum. So you could see price was going down here, but then you could see there was a momentum shift. You could see the divergence where the momentum was starting to go up in around this time. We had the MACD crossover right around here as well. So I actually used this to make a nice trade in Ethereum, and I used this to make a nice little trade in Ripple. And this was actually very recent, before I was even really messing around with the Elliott wave. So this is going to get a little bit more interesting because I'm going to actually break down what's actually happening now. That's the main goal. But what eventually happened was, and this is where the market's actually starting to get a little bit more clear. So what I was looking for, this is on a 4-hour chart, I was looking for the market to break above this 55 cents because that was where that structural area was, and that was where the false break was. But a lot of times, the way the market works is support becomes resistance, or resistance becomes support. So where people were buying off that 55, 56 cent area, once it breaks, you could see, oh, now sellers are now selling from that area. But once it broke that was to me confirmation the market was going up. I actually ended up jumping in on this move right here. I jumped in right here on a technical break, and then I unloaded up here. But well, let me show you what's going on. So this is actually, to me, clear as day. This is wave 1, wave 2, which wave 2 typically is a big retracement of wave 1, typically the 0.618 or better. Then wave 3 typically, especially if wave 2 is a deep retracement, is going to be a shallow retracement, which this was, and then we topped off at wave 5. At this moment, I was actually holding some Ripple and I was holding some Ethereum, and I wanted to be in, but I saw so many reasons for the market to turn, and if my broker would allow me, I would have been shorting this move here, but they wouldn't allow me. So we had a clear 5-wave pattern up here, and then from there you can actually see where we've had 5 waves correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I don't want to get into this so much here, but you can actually research exactly what constitutes as wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, how the market behaves around those times, blah, blah, blah. But this is clear as day. Again, you can see wave 1, and then you can see a big retracement for wave 2, wave 3, shallow retracement wave 4, and then wave 5. But what made this more interesting was I drew up what's called a bullish wedge pattern. You could see the first trend line here that gets hit 3 times, almost 4, and then you can see this one that got hit 3 times. It's this imaginary triangle, but the price is oscillating back and forth in that triangle. And what that means is that essentially price is going to break out up or down at some point. At this moment that this happened, again, the same thing was happening. The volume was drying up. So it's like an indicator that like the supply was drying up, which means demand would grow. But again, back to waves within waves. This was 5 waves up. This was 5 waves down. But on a larger scale, this in itself is going to be a larger wave, which I have to predict so that I can get into the next big move way up here. So after the 5 waves up and the 5 waves down, I was looking for a spot to buy. And what I did is I actually jumped in a few times within this downtrend here because I was, the Elliott wave is a little difficult. It's like as time goes on, you get a more accurate idea of what's going on with the Elliott wave within the market, and you get better. But I traded a few times. I lost a few percentage points entering into Ripple, but my losses were very short. And I was patient. Even though I wasn't the best. I lost a few points, but it did end up getting in at 55.5 cents, back at this huge psychological level right here. And the reason why I got in here is because I saw 5 waves ended right here. And I saw the major structural area right here as well. But not only that, but for this to be a major wave 1, typically the Fibonacci level is not going to go below 0.886, 0.786. And you can see right here, it was like it hit 786 and bounced off. I know this is confusing. It's almost like you'd have to watch this video 3 times to really grasp it, but there is a system to this. And then let me break this down again here too. So on this 5 waves down, within that 5th wave, there's 5 waves. And that is where it gets really interesting. And that is where you're able to make precise trades whenever you're able to map things out like that. Because not only did I see 5 waves ending here, but I saw 5 waves within the 5th wave at a major structural area, which is a support area, but it's also at a very key Fibonacci level. The market, I was actually, because I got tired of the way the market was moving with Ripple on the way down. I guarantee there was many frustrated people like trying to find the bottom and getting in. But I wanted to wait for it to break out of this wedge pattern around 60 cents. The issue is through my broker, I can't even put orders in. I honestly don't even know how to put orders in correctly to where it can just buy me in. I don't even know if they have the capacity to set up for that. I'm kind of new to cryptocurrency trading a little bit. My main focus has been on Forex trading. So what happened when I saw the market was at 55 cents and I knew, man, this is like the bottom. I actually went ahead and bought it. I bought it at 55.5 cents. And then it broke out and then now it's going. So this is actually very, very exciting. This is the exciting part because, and I will zoom back in a second, but I'm sitting here mapping out this wave 1 and I'm looking for wave 3. This is on a daily time frame. And So this is the wave one to wave the wave one 1.618 Fibonacci projection would put us at 134.4, which is a nice little metric to get an idea of where we think wave 3 could possibly end. But it could very well extend more than that. I would say that would be the at least. Ignore the 3 and 4. I'm not really focused on that right now. But so you can see here, like we said, 5 waves up, 5 waves down. And then now we got a wave 1, a wave 2, and now we're in the process of wave 3, which I think, for many reasons, because of structural area and because of Fibonacci extensions, I think we will get in the low 130s. And then I think from there, we would probably retrace a little bit, maybe at the low dollar range, and then we would make like another high before some sort of correction and then back up. But I do think that this could be even more powerful, because I just know cryptocurrency can get pretty crazy. I mean, you might even see something like this. I mean, you don't really know. You're just making your best guess. So, but it is fun. If you look here too, down here, this is the end of wave 2, and now we're looking for wave 3. But you can actually count the waves here, which is what I've been doing, and it allows you to add positions if you want. If you're not into the overall market, it can allow you to get back in, stuff like that. It's actually interesting. I actually had this drawn. I deleted it before this video, but I actually had this mapped out like almost perfectly, where I thought the waves would stop and start. Not exact, but pretty close. Like I thought wave 2 would end here. I did think wave 3. I thought wave 3 was going to end a little bit sooner, and then come down here, but it makes sense though. It being this being short, make sure that makes sense that the market probably extend more. But anyways, so now we'll probably see something like wave 5 coming in this area, which is happening now. But you can see like so you can see a little bit of structural area in here. Support, resistance. So I think wave 5 will probably end around 75 cents. And I think from there, you'll probably see some sort of correction. You'll probably see some sort of correction like this. Let me draw my Fibonacci on here. Give me a better idea. Yeah. I would say that's about right. So I think you'll probably get a wave 5 around 75 cents. And then you'll probably get some sort of pullback around the wave 4 area. And then you'll get like a nice little retracement into wave B, like 0.618. And then some sort of retracement down here. And I'm telling you, I think what I'm showing you here will probably be pretty accurate. It's another thing too is these simple ABC corrections are not always the case. Sometimes there's other forms of corrections, and there's any Elliott wave theory people watching this, they'll tell you that there's so many. It's quite a bit of information. So I think the market's going to go about 75 cents for wave 5, and then I think we'll get some sort of A correction, B, and then C. This is actually the 0.618 of this whole move. And then there's also structural area here, and then it'll shake out some of the market here who are long against this support area and this support area. So, and then that will be the beginning of wave 2 within wave 3. So this is what we do. This is the reason why I bought at 55. There is a system to it. That's really all I'm trying to show. I'll give you another example right now of a trade that I literally just entered on my phone. This looks a little sloppy, but very similar situation. This is the Australian US dollar yen. I'm just going to show you this real quick just because I entered that trade. There's probably some curiosity, and it's a good example because I literally just entered this trade. So as we're on this, so what did I just do here? What just happened? Okay. All right, so this is the US dollar yen. You could see the market bottomed out here about 1047. You could see a wave 1, a wave 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, and a wave 5. And now within those waves, there's clear as day 5 waves in each of the waves, because this is a big move in the the forex market. This is a huge move, but what makes it interesting is that it was actually also a bearish wedge pattern. So you can see this like little imaginary triangle, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and within the 5th wave, there was an ending diagonal pattern here, which you could look up. I ended up shorting right in here actually, and then I unloaded right here. But that was a nice trade. But recently, I counted 5 waves down, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I put in the ABC projection, which I actually projected this perfectly, the ABC correction, and actually was not difficult. It's just I put the B projection at the 0.618 of this move, and then this right here I calculated being the 0.618 Fibonacci of this move. Anyone who's not familiar with that, I'll just put it up here, and you can see 0.618 Fibonacci. And then also my I think this might have actually put in a 0.618. No, it's not. Not only that, but you also have structural area right here. You have support and resistance in this area. If there's anything I know about trading and the financial markets, is a lot of times the markets like to have a false break to make it look like it's going to go past that and come down. So this is the area I've literally been waiting for quite some time. And I think what's going to happen is illustrating this going forward, I think I gotta get used to it. I think I have my, see that. Okay. So what I think is going to happen is this whole move is now going to turn into wave 3. And I think wave 3 has a very, very strong case to come way down here. I mean, there's really nothing stopping this from just falling. that far, like the 106 area, which is about 400 pips. But the best way to know to get out would just be to count the waves on the way down. But let's see if there's any major Fibonacci that would link up with this. Probably coincide nicely. And there is 0.786 right in this area. 0.886 area. Considering that wave 1 was 330 pips, we would at least come to here, at least. But I would say this is even probably a higher chance right here. 0.886. So this I am going to hold short. I'm just going to hold it and hold it and hold it until it comes in here. And then maybe from there I can unload it and look to get into wave 5 or whatever. But what's nice is how this ABC correction worked out perfectly. And if it does move, which it looks like it is, then we'll have an exact count on the wave counts, which will be nice. I literally just entered this trade at 1:10.20, by the way. 1:10.20. And I put a stop loss above here. I wanted to wait for an entrance at 140, but I think the market might get away from me. I don't think that's going to happen. Actually, on a small 5-minute chart, this is probably 5 waves. So I may have actually been able to get a better entrance. And then this could very well be A, and then B, and then maybe C. But that's getting a little too far out there. I mean, that's just such a very minute time frame. So that's it. That's it for this video.